Hi, and welcome to this third video in which I do my best to complete experiments from this very good introductory volume to electronics by Charles Platt, which is called Make Electronics. And today the experiment is all about making batteries. And believe it or not, according to the book, you probably have exactly what you need to make a homemade battery already in your house somewhere. So what do we need to make a homemade battery? Well, we need three things. We need two electrodes of different materials, and we need some form of electrolyte. So for our electrodes, we're actually going to, one of them is just going to be a fairly standard copper plated coin. Now, you probably can't see too well on the video, but if I hold up another coin of the same type next to this one, what you probably can see is that this one is a lot shinier. And what tends to happen with coins is that the copper reacts with the oxygen and forms a layer of copper oxide on the surface of the coin. And that's actually what causes it to go dull and brown compared to the shininess of a newer coin. Actually, this one isn't a new coin. It did previously look like this one. But all I've done is just bathed it for a couple of minutes in a solution of white vinegar and salt. And that's enough just to lift the copper oxide off the surface, just so that we've got more bare copper. And it's a good idea to do that because the battery apparently will work better if we do that. So that's that. So for the other electrode, I've got this, which as you can see is just a little steel bracket. Now, the important thing about this is not to try and use a stainless steel bracket. That isn't going to work. It has to be a piece of galvanized steel. And galvanized steel is, is slippery. Galvanized steel is steel that has been coated with a layer of zinc. And it's actually the zinc that will form a reaction with the copper and the electrolyte in the battery. And then finally, for the electrolyte, we're just going to use an ordinary lemon. And how does the saying go? If life gives you lemons, make batteries. Or at least something along those lines. So without further ado then, let's see about making a homemade battery. So the first thing we need to do is to cut our lemons in half, and I'm going to do my best to do this without turning this into some sort of Tarantino-esque bloodbath. So there's one. And there's the other. And now what we need to do is in each half is basically going to be turned into a single cell in the battery. So in each half we first of all need to just push in the galvanized zinc plate. So I'm just going to shove that in there just far enough so that it's in, but I've still got something I can clip the lead to, and then close to it but not so that it's touching, we need to insert one of the pennies. So again, just going to try and get this close but so they're not actually making contact. It's quite difficult because the lemon is very squishy. Okay, there we go. So now hopefully if we attach the leads of the meter, let me put this over here and put this here so that you can see it. Let's pop this up actually. Try and do this so that you can see both of them. So I need to attach the negative lead to the galvanized metal and the other one to the coin, the copper coin, and without pulling it out of the lemon. And let's see if we're actually getting any kind of voltage. We are. So we're getting a little shy of 1 volt out of that, just that single cell, which is great. But obviously 1 volt isn't going to drive very much. So let me just take these off while I quickly hook up the others. And the book recommends 3 as an optimal number, so we'll start with that. So bear with me while I just do these. There's another one. And the final one. Okay, so now what we should be able to do is just take some additional leads, and let me just move this for the moment so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to take some additional leads. So obviously what I want to do is hook the cathode on one to the anode on the other, and I'm not sure if I've got those the right way around, to be honest, but you get the idea. And same here, that one goes to there. And I just need to push that in a bit more. And then we can do the same thing where I can hook the meter up to one end of the battery, because we've now got a battery of 3 cells, and to the other end. And now let's see what we get. Huh. Ah, look at that. So I actually had to skip up to another range, and we're getting 2.63 volts out of that, which is fantastic. So, of course, the acid test, if you'll pardon the pun, the citric acid test in this case, is this sufficient to light an LED? Well, let's find out. So I've set up an almost complete circuit with the LED hooked up to one end. So all I need to do now is just attach the other end of the lead to the LED, and hopefully you should get some light. Now, you might be thinking, if you watched the previous episode, what about the resistor? Where's the current limiting resistor? Well, in this case, the theory is, at least according to the book, that this particular homemade battery just can't generate current fast enough to overpower the LED. So the theory is we shouldn't need a resistor, but let's find out. So here we go. Ooh, we've got light, but it's very weak. Let me just turn off the main lights here and see if you can see it. Can you see there? We've got a definite glow, but it's very faint, and that's going to be largely down to that very weak current that we're able to draw from the lemons. But nevertheless, that is success. We've successfully created a battery and used it to power an LED, albeit with a very weak light. So excuse the darkness, but as I still had 1/2 a lemon left, I decided to make a cell from that as well, so that we've now got a battery of 4 cells rather than 3, just to see if that would make any appreciable difference to the light. And the answer to that seems to be not much. I mean, we're definitely getting light, but it hasn't made an appreciable difference. But nevertheless, I'm quite chuffed that you know, it's working at all, which is great. So as you saw, the problem with lemons as a basis for batteries is that they're a bit squishy and a bit unstable. But if you have a plastic storage box, and again, so the book suggests, I have not yet tried this out. You have a plastic storage box like this with different cells in it. You can actually use this to make a slightly more robust battery. So let's give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all just insert the electrodes and just keep them in place with the test lead clips for now. So there's that one, and then of course on the opposite side we want one of our pennies, so let's do that one there, and we need to clip that to another electrode on the opposite side. Oh, slippery fingers with all that lemon juice. Yeah. Okay, this might take a while. Bear with me. Okay, after a lot of fiddling about, I finally got everything set up, and as you can see, we've used the 4 compartments on this end of the tray to create 4 cells in series, and you can see we've got one of each type of electrode on each side of those cells. Now, of course, at the moment we're not measuring any voltage at all, and that's because we've got no electrolyte here, and that was the purpose that was being served by the lemons in the previous circuit. So what I'm going to try to do now, and see if I can do this without making too much mess, and I hope that I've got enough here, is basically just add some lemon juice to each cell. I just need to fill it to the point that it gets above, that it's reaching those electrodes. And hopefully when this one gets to a sufficient depth, we should, there we go, starting to get something now. Not very much. Just needed a bit more. There we go. It just needed a bit more depth in each one. And there we go. We're getting quite a healthy healthy voltage, I should say, out of that. 3.76 volts is not to be sniffed at. So now let's disconnect the meter and let's see what that does with our LED. And what I will do is I will once again, let me just hook up one end of this first. So this one wants to go to the long lead, which is here. Okay. And then before I hook up the other lead, I will just turn down the main room light just so that we can see it a bit more clearly. So bear with me. So here's the LED, just about to add the second lead, and there we go. There is our light. Again, it's not particularly strong, and once again, I would imagine that's down to, you know, the maximum current that we can draw from this homemade battery being quite weak, but nevertheless, it is still working as a battery. You saw we were getting well over 3 volts there, which is great. and enough current to light an LED. So successful experiment. So that was a really fun experiment. I very much enjoyed that, and I thoroughly encourage you to get a copy of the book and to try that out for yourself, along with all the other many fun experiments in here, and learn about electronics in the process. I will put a link to the book in the description, and in the meantime I hope to see you again for the next one, and the next one we are going to be getting switched on to switches.